Good day YouTube, this is Dan from Cryptolite, and today we have huge news about what is causing the market crash. Also, another important update about the NEO FUD that's been happening over the last week, so stay tuned, you don't want to miss this episode of Cryptolite. The market's horrible at the moment. Right after we were climbing out of January's crash, these last few days have seen another sea of red, and today the market broke the lower resistance of 3.8 billion, and now we are sitting in the uncertain territories of 3.7 billion. For those of you who have been following the market today, this morning was a shocking morning, was a bloodbath, and most coins fell over 15%. Bitcoin hit a low of just over 8,500, and it's since been trying to correct itself and is now climbing to just over 9,002. But man, it's been a really bloody day. Bitcoin dominance has gone up to 41.5%. Again, with no new money in the market, this means that the increase in Bitcoin is coming from the altcoins. So if Bitcoin is struggling today, the altcoins are really getting hammered. There's been a lot of news trickling down about why the market is crashing, and I think it comes down to three major news. The first news is about Binance. A couple of days ago, rumors were floating that Binance, the biggest exchange at the moment, got hacked. Users were reporting that their coins were being sold at the market price to purchase an altcoin called VRCoin. And VRCoin, as you can see here, had a massive price rise over a few minutes a couple of days ago. Now, Binance responded really swiftly and they closed all their trading. And later, they issued a statement to say that all irregular trades had been reversed and the hackers actually lost some funds as a result. This incident was due to trading bots being hacked, not Binance. So some traders on Binance were using trading bots to do their trades, and some of them also logged into a phishing website, and there was where the accounts got hacked. So the storm's over, and it's really good to see that Binance stepped up to the plate to address these issues swiftly and efficiently. It's the second time that they've done so in the last few weeks, and I'm really impressed with them. There is no perfect exchange in this world, but what we want is an exchange that is responsive and tries its best to be protective towards us. And that's what Binance is proving to be. I guess that's why they are the #1 exchange in the world at the moment. The second news is about the SEC. Bitcoin just tanked below 10,000 after SEC says crypto exchanges must register with the agency. Bitcoin fell on Wednesday, dropping below the key $10,000 level after the Securities and Exchange Commission said it will require digital asset exchanges to register with the agency. The statement referred to digital assets that are considered securities. The largest cryptocurrency by market cap dropped nearly 10% on Coinbase, as you can see here, steep drop here, in a sudden move after the SEC statement stoked fears that tightening regulation could restrict future trading. So just when we thought we were done with the US government and their restrictions, they are throwing in another move to try and take more control of the crypto. I'm not sure whether this has an underlying motive in terms of tax purposes or more, but I must say I'm glad I'm not living in the US at the moment. I just see it getting harder and not easier in the near future. Now, if two pieces of bad news coinciding wasn't enough to hit the market, a third bad news came today, this morning, and it hit the market really hard. This news is probably the worst news of all. This news revolves around Mt. Gox. Now, for those of you who are new to the crypto space, Mt. Gox used to be the biggest exchange back in 2013, 2014. They got hacked really hard, losing what was over 400 million then, which is worth over $2 billion now, and that's significant, and I'll come to that later. And that basically caused a market crash in 2014. So you kind of get the feel by now that major exchanges like Mt. Gox in 2014 or Binance in 2018 really have a lot of influence over the market. Anyway, today it was revealed that one of their trustees, who apparently has access to that 2 billion worth of Bitcoin, has been manipulating the market over the last few months by intentionally selling large batches of Bitcoin at specific points to crash the market. So far, he has sold over 400 million worth of Bitcoin, and that's more than 10% of the total market cap in the world at the moment. As you can see here, Okay, these are the very specific points where he sold the Bitcoin, and it was a very intentional effort to cause a market crash. He wasn't selling them at the highs, he was selling them at the lows to bring the lows even lower, hoping to bring a crash. The last time he sold, he did bring the crash that brought Bitcoin to the lowest we had in the recent bear run, down to 6,000. And so that explains why, despite the advancements that we've made in blockchain over the last few months in technology and partnership, the market hasn't been able to take off because it was intentionally manipulated by a very big whale. The scary thing about this, though, is that while it was caused by this whale guy, Nobuki Kobayashi, he announced that he still has over $1.8 billion worth of Bitcoin that he still intends to sell. Now, he claims that he's doing this to raise money to pay back those who lost money in the Mt. Gox crash back in 2000 and 2013 and 14. But if that was really so, though, why did he sell it at the low to crash the market? Wouldn't you just sell it at the high if you're out to earn money? The most annoying thing is that Mark Capales, who was the CEO of Mt. Gox at that time, may stand to make a massive amounts of money once the creditors are paid off because the price of Bitcoin has inflated so much. So it's all in the hands of the court at the moment, and whether or not he will be allowed to sell the rest of the Bitcoin, and we can only hope that the answer is no. These guys, they don't care about how they are ruining people's lives by crashing the market. They won't sell it at a reasonable or safe manner to avoid crashing the market. For some reason, I don't know, maybe it's just bitterness of what they suffered in 2014, but they look like they're out for blood. So this is really big and bad news. We have to keep our eyes out. This is something that we have to follow. And if there are any more major news coming out over the next few days, I will update you guys as soon as I hear about it. So that's the news about Bitcoin and why the market is crashing following the Bitcoin crash. Now, moving on from Bitcoin, some positive news about the FUD around NEO. Now, FUD stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and it's a term that we use especially much in crypto to describe false rumors that are designed to cause unwarranted fear in investors. NEO was victim to a particularly nasty FUD this week, and the price of NEO has fallen a massive 37% compared to a week ago. It wasn't just a market crash because the other coins did fall, but not as much as NEO. It was a FUD that was specific to NEO that did double damage to NEO this week. What happened is that on the 25th of February, a blogger by the alias of Star of Vault, wrote this article that said NEO is a multi-billion-dollar disaster. And it's a very, very long article. You can go through it in your own time. But basically, it accused NEO of having poor block times and poor ICO management, and said that NEO would be unable to function if any one out of its 7 nodes operated by the team went down. Now, this blog itself wasn't the killing blow. The killing blow came from a blogger who followed up on this, and his name is Eric Wall. He's a Bitcoin engineer, and he posted a 16-tweet long article on why NEO consensus algorithm doesn't work and why NEO is, in his own words, not the Chinese Ethereum, and sounded so stupid. It was a very, very strong article that was really hostile in its tone, which of course the NEO FUD lovers loved. So this is the killer tweet that went viral and caused the drop in price of NEO. Now, in response to this tweet, Da Hongfei, who is the CEO of NEO, gave a reply that was very patient and very politely explained. And he basically refuted all the accusations that Eric Wall had laid against NEO. In fact, his explanation was so satisfactory that Eric Wall had subsequently tweeted an apology 2 days ago to say that his accusations of NEO was unfounded. So the problems that Eric Wall accused NEO of actually wasn't a massive issue after all. It was a simple bug that could be easily solved. It wasn't a major consensus algorithm issue that he accused it to be. But you see, it's so easy for some guy to get superficial information from Twitter. He didn't even do his own research. He just got the information from Twitter and came to his own conclusions and started a viral FUD. And even though now it's all cleared up, the damage is already done. And many of the FUDers, once they got something to run with, they stopped following the updates, and it really affected the price of NEO. They again, are so inconsiderate, and they don't consider how it really affects the market and the lives of the people who genuinely invest in the market because they genuinely believe in the project. So, I really hate FUD. Now, even if we hate FUD, we have to recognize that the crypto market is so responsive to hype and FUD, and not the actual value of the projects at time. Because if it was based on the actual value of the project, the NEO project, for example, nothing has changed since a couple of weeks until now, so the price really shouldn't have changed. And I guess I just want to encourage us to hang in there. The market right now is really, really tough. And I know how tough it can be to hang in a crashing market. My sympathy especially goes out to those who entered the crypto market in January, because they would have been hit the hardest as they entered at the highest point, and so they experienced the greatest fall so far. And I know it's not my place to give you advice about what to do with your money, because I'm not a professional or financial advisor. And even if I was a professional or financial advisor, really no one has the right to tell you what to do with your money. But for me, right, I'm not going to panic sell, because as long as I don't sell, I don't make a loss. But once I sell, I will officially make a loss. To end today's video, I want to show you something to hopefully encourage you guys. It's the crypto market over the last 4 years. This graph here is a picture of 2014, and you see that at the start of 2014, we suffered a massive crash to the market, and we thought as the crypto market, that we would never recover from it. Indeed, not even to the end of the year, we were still in the crash. Now, 2015, pretty rough start. The price dropped even further than where we were in 2014 at the start of the year, but those who stuck in there by the end of 2015 saw massive gains. Now we come to 2016, it was a good year with steady growth. And then last year, 2017, it was actually a really demoralizing first half of the year with very little movement. But then the end of the year really took us by surprise and took us to new heights that we never imagined. And this now then is the crypto market graph of our history since 2013. Now, everything that has happened in 2014, 2015, and 2016, all of those ups and downs look like a flat line in the big scheme of things now. What was market crashes, bull runs, moonshots, bear markets, all seem so insignificant now in the light of the kind of prices that we are looking at today. And I believe that in 5 years, 10 years from now, the same thing will be said of what the market is going through right now. All of these fluctuations will seem small in the history of crypto. Blockchain is a solid technology that is going to change the world. Mass adoption is really starting to happen. We are at a very, very pivotal point in history where the big companies from every sector of society, Amazon, Sony, Samsung, YouTube, Starbucks, BMW, etc., are taking note and starting to get involved in cryptocurrency. Just this year, every crypto news update we have had except for this one, we have spoken about governments taking interest in crypto, making their own currencies, etc. We are on the verge of mass adoption. And yes, now we know that there really is a whale holding back the market. There's a lot of FUD going around to bring the prices down, but all that really means is that the big run that we are hoping for and believing in is going to happen a bit later. It is still going to happen, it's just delayed for a little while. Even if that Mt. Gox person is allowed to sell his Bitcoin, yes, it's going to be a huge hit, but he will run out of Bitcoin to sell eventually, and then we will take off. So don't lose hope, guys. I'm going to end my video with a story that I told in my teaser video, but I love this story because it encourages me in a red market like what we're seeing today. This is a true story about an Apple founder by the name of Ron Wayne. Ron sold his Apple shares for $800 in 1976. Today, the same shares is worth $35 billion. Imagine that. I look at this story and I tell myself that I don't want to be the Ron Wayne of my generation. I want to be able to tell my kids and grandkids in future that I saw the crypto wave coming in my time and I had the foresight to invest in it. This is the .com opportunity of our generation and I don't want to miss out on it. So I'm going to hodl because I believe in blockchain and its technology. I do believe in smart contracts and in decentralization, giving the chance for the average person to gain wealth. So I hope this story encourages you a little bit. Once again, we are not professional advisors. Whatever we say is just us sharing our thoughts on our crypto journey with you. Work it out for yourself how you're going to approach this market and be at peace with yourself on this. So that's it for me, guys. Have a great weekend. Don't look at the market. I'm semi-serious about that because nothing much happens over the weekend. Just go out and enjoy your weekend. Follow our channel. We are going to do a couple more reviews this weekend of good coins that you guys have requested, and we will keep you posted if any more major news arises. If you feel up to it, drop an encouraging comment in the comment section for the rest of the community. It's nice to look out for each other in tough times like this. Alright, till tomorrow guys. Peace.